For thousands of years, humans have pridefully believed that we are superior to other animals in many ways. Philosophers like Aristotle claimed that our ability to reason, think abstractly, and reflect made us uniquely special.
I had a seminar going on the subject of self-control.
In the 20th century, psychologists made lists of intellectual abilities that they thought only humans possessed, such as mental time travel, episodic memory, anticipating future needs, self-awareness, communication, coordination, and tool use. However, research over the past century has systematically dismantled these claims of human uniqueness. Despite how intuitively appealing it seems to view these skills as exclusively human, science now suggests that many, if not all of them, may not be unique to humans after all. Charles Darwin believed that the differences in cognition between humans and higher animals were a matter of degree, not a fundamental distinction.
It hopefully produces new associations, new ideas, new understandings about the human brain.
What exactly makes human intellect unique? If humans truly had completely unique intellectual capabilities, we would expect the human brain to contain novel neurological structures, new wiring, or new systems not found in other ape brains. However, the evidence shows the opposite. There are no brain structures in humans that are not also apparent in our fellow apes. The human brain appears to be simply a scaled-up version of a primate brain, with a larger neocortex and basal ganglia, but containing the same areas wired in the same ways. Enlarging a chimpanzee's brain may have enhanced our future planning, theory of mind, motor skills, etc., but it did not necessarily give us entirely new cognitive abilities. A very reasonable explanation for human brain evolution since our split from chimpanzees is that various evolutionary pressures simply enhanced, leveled up, the abilities we already shared with other primates, rather than creating brand new capabilities. Was there perhaps no true breakthrough that made human cognition qualitatively different at all? Communication between living things is very ancient and widespread. Even single-celled organisms and brainless animals like sea anemones communicate using chemical signals. Many animals like bees, fish, reptiles, and mice also communicate through things like dancing, electrical signals, head bobs, and squeaks.
This animal is using a tool, Anne's nearest relative, the chimpanzee, and tool using comes as naturally to him.
Our closest evolutionary relatives, chimpanzees and other apes, use a variety of sounds and gestures to communicate specific requests and meanings with each other. Primatologists have cataloged almost 100 different chimp gestures and their meanings, like shoulder tapping to mean stop it. Vervet monkeys even have distinct alarm calls that alert others to specific predators like leopards or eagles, causing the monkeys to run into trees or to the ground. So clearly communication is not unique to humans. What is unique is the way humans communicate, through language. Human language is different from animal communication in two key ways. First, we use declarative labels or symbols that are arbitrarily assigned to objects and actions, like calling something an elephant or running. Animal communication is hardwired genetically rather than using assigned symbols. The second unique thing about human language is that it has grammar, rules about how symbols are ordered and combined to convey particular meanings. This allows us to take a limited vocabulary and generate infinite meanings by weaving words into sentences, sentences into stories, etc. Even ancient human hunter-gatherer tribes that were isolated from others for over 50,000 years still had complex languages with their own grammar and labeling systems. But the fact that only humans naturally use grammatical language with declarative labels doesn't necessarily prove our brains evolved a unique ability for it. Maybe language was simply a cultural invention that spread to all modern humans. To test this, science has tried teaching language to humanity's closest ape relatives. If the apes could learn it, it would suggest language is a cultural invention. If they failed, it implies human brains evolved a specialized ability for language. The results of these experiments were quite surprising and revealing. Scientists cannot literally teach apes to speak verbal language because ape vocal cords are not physically capable of producing the range of sounds required for speech. They started teaching apes language back in the 1930s. However, researchers have attempted to teach apes nonverbal forms of language like sign language or pointing to symbols on boards. In these studies, infant apes were trained for years by humans constantly signing words or pointing to symbols for objects, actions, etc., until the apes began repeating the signs and symbols back. After this intense training, the apes could indeed use the correct sign symbols for different things like dogs, shoes, playing, tickling. They could even string together basic noun-verb combinations like tickle me. There were some anecdotes suggesting the apes combined known words to express new meanings, like one chimp who saw a swan and called it a water bird. Another seemed to joke around by taking a trainer's blanket, signing, "Bad surprise." However, the degree to which these studies actually demonstrated the apes using grammar and declarative labels, as opposed to just associating symbols with rewards, is still debated. Many argue that apes' sentences were too simple to be real grammar. Most scientists conclude that while some apes can learn rudimentary symbolic communication, they don't naturally create full language like humans, and their abilities never surpass that of a young child, even after intensive training. So human language appears unique in two ways. One, we naturally create it and use it without training, which no other animals do. And two, our mastery of language far exceeds the capabilities of even our closest ape relatives. But if language is what separates humans as the most advanced species, then what exactly is so powerful about this linguistic ability that gives humans such an advantage? Human language with its symbolic labels and grammar allows groups of people to transfer their inner thoughts, concepts, and mental simulations to each other's minds in unprecedented detail. When you say, "Remember that dog we saw yesterday?" you are deliberately transferring your inner mental recreation or simulation of seeing the past dog to the listener's mind. This ability to share the contents of our imaginations gave early humans many practical advantages, like more effectively teaching skills, coordinating hunting strategies, and describing locations or future plans. But the true power of language goes far beyond these surface benefits. The key breakthrough was that language enabled the transfer and accumulation of knowledge and innovations across generations in a way no other species can do. Just as genes are passed from parent to offspring, enabling evolution, language allows ideas and inventions to be preserved by spreading from brain to brain over centuries and millennia. All the complex knowledge, behaviors, and technologies modern humans take for granted are built upon a vast accumulation of incremental innovations over thousands of generations. Consider something as simple as sewn clothing. This requires the prior mastering of skills like skinning hides, making string, crafting needles, and knapping stone tools for cutting. No single person could have spontaneously invented clothing from scratch. The same accumulation principle applies to cultural achievements like social values, leadership systems, and moral codes around violence and justice. Each new idea builds upon the conceptual foundation laid by previous societies and thinkers over centuries. Other animals like chimpanzees can learn skills by imitation within a single generation, but they can't accumulate innovations over multiple generations in the way humans can. Their knowledge gets reset with each new generation. Human language acts as a knowledge elevator that protects ideas from being lost, allowing them to be permanently kept and combined with new innovations over an unbroken chain of generations stretching back thousands of years. So while language enables many immediate benefits like teaching, coordinating group behavior, and creating shared myths that allow cooperation among strangers, its true evolutionary force is how it allows quasi-Darwinian process of preserving and improving ideas to play out, resulting in the accumulated massive complexity of human knowledge, technology, and culture. The meme-like spreading of ideas through language enabled humanity's intellectual, cultural, and technological advancement over an extended evolutionary process spanning our entire history as a species.